Thank you guys for waiting. There was some difficulties and things of that nature, but we here. Peace and blessings. Give me 1 minute, you guys. Much love. Once again, thank you. We have our girl here, young lady who is making power moves in Jersey City. All right. So before we get started, let me just say thank you to each and every last one of you guys who has always followed, supported D.A.P. I really appreciate it. Let me just make sure we are live. If you can hear me, please put a 1 in the chat. Much appreciated if you can do that. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Thank you. We will be getting started in 1 minute. Like I said, there were some difficulties. And now I think we hopefully got it right. But do me the favor, put a 1 in the chat if you can hear the sound. That's important. All right. I'm looking for 1s in the chat. Looking for 1s in the chat. If you can do that, very much appreciated. And we're going to get started with this exclusive interview with our girl, Tami Weaver-Henry. Go on David Adams podcast, YouTube. Please press subscribe. Do me the favor, go on Facebook under David Adams, and you can watch it from there as well. Okay? Chrissy, do me the favor and let me know if you can hear me. Please put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Thank you. I need to know if the sound is right. Welcome again to D.A.P, where you get exclusive interviews, truth, transparency, and all that good stuff, dealing with all types of topics. I just want you guys to let me know if you can hear me. Thank you, Ness Powers. I appreciate you for chiming in. Thank you for the 1 to let me know that we are
they said
able
yes.
to hear. Okay, good. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks. All right, we're going to start off right now. We're not going to waste no more time. Shout out to the Supreme Sunshine Shea Butter. Make sure you go grab that. You know, I'm just realizing that the Carnival has been saying a whole bunch of things about why they don't want some people on the ship. And one of the reasons they're starting to ban certain things. Mm-hmm. One of the things they banning is the fans.
Why?
Because they say it's a hazardous or it's a safety issues. They've been fighting on the ship. People throwing chairs and all that stuff. So I think that.
But who's carrying the fans?
Well, our people. Mm-hmm. Where them fans? Mm-hmm. Where them fans? You know what I mean?
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. So I think some people say it's racism and all that, but I said no. They trying to do rules and regulations. That's all. They're trying to make it safe for everybody. And I can imagine somebody getting mad with somebody else.
Well, you respect the rules. I mean, if they feel like they don't want fans on there, and if fans something that you absolutely want, then don't go on that cruise ship.
So I can imagine a big fight breaking out and somebody using the fan.
Well,
You know what I mean?
If someone, if I was in a dangerous situation and I could utilize that,
exactly.
Why wouldn't I?
They may grab a fan, and just somebody being real, how can I say it? Just starting trouble.
Right.
Just doing the fan in the girl's face because she mad just because. Right. I can see that.
It could be perceived as a weapon.
Yeah. Well, How you doing, Tammy? How are you?
I'm doing well. Honored to be here.
No doubt.
Just looking to speak to the people on this evening.
No
hey,
doubt.
cousin.
Okay, cousin in the house. Cousin in the house. So we're going to get started. I want to ask one of the first questions I want to ask is basically, tell us about first yourself. Who is Tammy? What inspired Tammy to go for councilwoman at large in Jersey City?
All right, so that's a loaded question.
No doubt.
Who is Tammy? Tammy is a wife of almost 34 years. Tammy is a child of God. I'm a pastor here in Jersey City. Tammy is a Christian-based home healthcare agency owner. Very first Christian-based agency here in the state of New Jersey, built with these bare hands from the ground up. Tammy is the chaplain of the Jersey City Women's Advisory Board. Second term as chair of the Jersey City Women's Advisory Board. Okay. Tammy is the chaplain for the Jersey City Police Department. Nice. Something that I was very integral in starting, recruiting, bringing individuals on. Tammy is a recent author. Wow. I had ankle surgery, and so while I was home, because my mind could never stay idle, right, I wrote 3 books in 2 months. Wow. So one is published, one is almost published, and the third one I'm finalizing so it can be published. Right. Shout out to my BFF who's giving me a book signing on August 3rd. Nice. You see that on my page, shameless plug. I know she's watching. No doubt. Much love to her. Tammy is a grandmother. Tammy is a mom. Tammy is a nurturer. Tammy is a business owner. Tammy is a fighter. Tammy is someone that never, ever, ever backs down, right? And so I've been advocating. Tammy is the I'm a board member of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women. Shout out to NCBW, Bergen Passaic chapter. Cannot forget them. No doubt. I've been advocating with that particular chapter for 15, almost 16 years now. And so I'm no stranger to being on the front line, fighting for people that can't fight for themselves, fighting for women, all things women, standing up to be that voice for women that feel like they're voiceless. Right. Tammy is someone that came from nothing and understood that you can take a little bit of nothing and make it into something. Tammy is someone that was proud to make grilled cheese sandwiches with that free government cheese back in the day. I remember them days. From where I'm from. Okay. Yeah. Born and raised in Jersey City. Born and raised in Jersey City all of my life. But most importantly, Tammy, along with the other women on the Jersey City Women's Advisory Board, shout out to my board members, we gave up 2 years to pass some legislation. It's called CDAW, the Convention to Eliminate Discrimination Against Women. Right. Nights, weekends, some vacations. And so last year when we finally introduced that legislation, we were told immediately, like, you guys wrote this, initially they told us, no, you can't do it. We fought, we got it. And we brought it to City Hall and we were told, well, okay, thank you. Pass it over to us. You don't have any legislative power. Wow. You're going to have to pass it off and we'll promote this and we'll give you guys like a little blurb towards the end. Wow. Well, the devil is a liar. I know that's right. And so obviously, we fought that. And so I have a lot of individuals that are in my life that pour wisdom into me. Nice. And we kind of chatted this thing out to bring me down and remind me that I was Pastor Tammy. No doubt. We don't want to pop any collars. And so what we did was I partnered with the 4 sitting women municipal council members, Council President Joyce Waterman, Councilwoman Denise Ridley, Councilwoman, former Councilwoman Mary Prince, and Councilwoman Amy DeGeese. And so they were the factor that allowed us to push this legislation. Right. So, but it was right then and there that I realized, okay, wow. So many times people ask me to run. I remember Viola Richardson. And we're still on question 1, right? So that's all right. I remember Viola Richardson. God bless her. I love her. Yeah. And she asked me years ago to run, and I laughed and I said, politics? Yeah, that's not my thing. Right. And she said, live long enough. You'll realize sooner or later you have to advocate for something. Wow. And so once that happened in City Hall, I said, I really do have to be sitting in that seat in order for me to affect change for women in Jersey City. Because I'm the one that they call in the middle of the night when something happens to a woman, domestic violence victims. I'm the person that they call, any type of incidents, shots, or whatever it is, the circumstance. I'm the person they call. And so as the chair of the Women's Advisory Board, if I don't have that power right there solely, along with the rest of the members on the board to pass that legislation, just strictly because we are a city hall entity, then obviously I need to be sitting in that particular chair in order for me to affect positive and real change in Jersey City.
Makes sense.
That's
Makes
why I
sense.
said it's a loaded question.
That's what's up. That's
Yeah.
what's up. So, what part of Jersey City do you call home? What's that spot for you? What has basically shaped your vision for leadership?
Okay. Okay, so that's also a double loaded question. What part of Jersey City? So I was born downtown, right?
Okay.
Downtown. Totally different downtown from what we see
Of
right
course.
now, right? So I was born downtown. Then we were in Currywoods. So I have downtown roots and family. Currywoods roots and family. We moved to Journal Square. Shout out to my VWP posse bandwagon. I was on bandwagon most of my adolescent and teenage life. And so that's Ward C, right? And then when we had our last son, because we have 7 children, 2003, my husband bought us a brownstone on Grand Street. So now we're Ward F. But I was also raised in Sail Court.
No doubt.
So Pastor Tammy has roots pretty much planted throughout the city. And so that's what makes me very diverse. I can move around the city very freely. I'm what so many people like to call Switzerland. I'm very neutral, but I'm very fair. They always say, if you don't want the truth, don't ask Tammy, because I will tell you the truth. And I'm going to be very transparent with that truth. And if they don't want to hear it as clearly as possible, then you should go and talk to somebody else that's a yes man. Right. I don't do yes men.
That's right. So how long you been pastoring? You're Reverend Tami.
Yeah, I am ordained. Yeah, there's a difference. See, and thank you for saying that, because sometimes people say I'm pastor this and pastor that.
Right.
But when you're a reverend, that means that you went through the process. You went through school. You're ordained. Right. The board of presbytery. You went before them. You had these lights like we have now. They sweated you in the sweat box. Asked you all these questions. Make sure at the end of the day, are you sold out for Christ? Right. And I did all that, and I'm ordained. So I've been ordained for 2018. So 7 years now. Okay. 7 years now. Been pastoring almost 7 years. Nice. And highs and lows, but yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. So speak on some of them highs and lows.
Okay. So again, because Pastor Tammy is not a yes man or woman, I'm not a yes woman. I like to tell people the truth. I give it to them straight, no chaser, as Pastor Donna Atwater says it, right?
That's right.
And so people don't like to hear the truth. Right. And so I'm that person that God has gifted me with things that I can look at a person and tell certain things. I can speak to a person and tell them certain things. Once someone asks me, I need you to pray for me or fast with me. And I'm like, are you sure? Because Pastor Tammy loves to eat. And if I turn down my plate for you, God is going to reveal some things. And if you're not willing to actually adhere to those things that he revealed, all hell's going to break loose in your life, not mine. And so it happens. And so that happens sometimes. And so then people kind of shy away from me because they like try and figure out what is this significant gift that God has given her, that she can see things and smell past the, that they try and period. Right. And so I think those are some of the lows to pastoring, but the highs is definitely being a leader, because I lead by example. People, I always tell people, people ask me, can you be my mentor? I'm like, watch me. Watch me, because I know how to navigate different waters. But at the same time, I am no jellyback. I don't shrink back for anything or anybody. Right. And so if you're someone that's a weak person, you're not going to be able to go in those deep waters that I can swim in. Come on. And so those are some of the lows, some of the highs and lows that I see as being a pastor. But loving on people has been a gift I had all my life. Even since I was a little girl, I was literally the leader to cousins that were twice my age because that was the gift that I had. Wow. Because I really tapped into my village at a very young age. And that was my matriarch. That was my grandmother. She poured into me. And so when everybody else was outside running amok, I was in the house balancing the budget, doing the grocery shopping, because if I didn't, we weren't going to get the goodies,
Come
you
on.
know? And so those are the things that I did young and early in my life.
Right.
And so when the tough times came and we had to struggle and try and, make $2 out of 15 cents, I knew how to do that, you know? So
That's
those
what's
are
up.
some of the highs and lows
That's
as being a
what's up.
pastor. But I love people. I love God's
No
people.
doubt.
Yeah.
What are some of the key experiences that you have experienced in your personal and professional life, that help you to prepare for office, for running leadership in the political world?
All right, well, let's go there. Like, again, a lot of your questions are very loaded. I told you kind of all the hats that I wear, right? And so let me start at the top. So you saw my story, you run it, and thank you for that, for promoting that, and just really telling people who I am. But a lot of people, they didn't really learn who I was until they saw that infomercial for my campaign.
Wow.
Nobody knew that I had to drop out of high school to take care of my mother, who was very sick. No one knew that I had to raise my child and her child. No one knew that I had to be the person to make very difficult decisions from my household and other people's household. And so when the time came for me to get my life back together and get back on track to where I was, because I had to drop out of academic high school. Come on, I had a guaranteed golden ticket to any college or university that I wanted to go to, but I chose life, my mother's life, right? And so when I did that and I went back and I said I wanted to give back, and I want to be a home health aide, and I want to, I realized very quickly that not everybody loves their mother like I love mine. So I would go into households, and these people, I would tell them, your mom has no food. It's not my problem. Your mother's lights are out. She has a candle. It's not my problem. And so these are the little things that made me start going back to the office and saying, this is not right. If they can't rely on their children, we need to find programs, tap into programs. And so my agency told me, wow, like, you're not just nosy, but there's a little power and force behind that thing. And so I started advocating for people very young in the home care business.
Gotcha.
And so from there, my home health day, they're like, you need to be in the office with us. They brought me in the office, and I'm nosy as heck. So I worked my way up through the ranks. I learned every single aspect of what it is to run a home health care business. And then I was the vice president of a public company.
Wow.
6-figure salary. Walked away. Why? Because they decided that they wanted to go public, and in the process of that, they wanted to get rid of all the people that have been there 20, 30 plus years with seniority. And I've been tasked to do that. I'm not doing that.
How did that make you feel when they came to you with that?
Okay, so I realized one day there was going to be something, because I'm usually the only one that looks like me in the room, right, at that level, and an executive level. And so when that came, I wasn't shocked. I was more angered that you thought that less of me, that I would do that to other people. And so I said to my boss at the time, she gave me my annual probationary, told me that was the only way I would pass it. So I took it, and I made a decision that I would never make a decision based on my emotions. So I was angry. I could have quit and just walked out the door. Nope. I went and I talked to my husband, and he had been telling me, start your own business. And I'm like, he's like, you have it in you. You're already doing this. You're making this money for these people. Start your own business. And I went and I called him and I told him what they did. And he said, I know you're not going to do it. I said, absolutely not. He said, then give him your letter of resignation. And that's exactly what I did, exactly what I did. And so let me just step back for a second. Because I've been an advocate all that time, and at that time, it was probably about, I'm 30 years in the healthcare arena, so it's probably about 14, 15 years in the business.
Got it.
All the Medicaid reps throughout New Jersey, Bergen, Hudson, Passaic, Union, all through, I had a very short illness where one of my kidneys failed, and I had gotten so much money back for this company. When I was out for a couple of months, they tried to blame every issue they had on me. And so these leaders said to me, you need to get out of there. Like, they even did an intervention, gave me the application to start my own business, and I put it in the drawer. Well, when I talked to my husband that day, I pulled that thing out the drawer. I went home, I wrote my letter of resignation, I handed it to them the next day. I walked out, started my own business, and I never looked back.
Wow.
Because you don't do that to people. It's the same people that help you build this company from the ground up, and you want to just take them and toss them out the door because you want to bring in people that are low level and they don't have seniority. I didn't do that. And so for me, that's one of my key experiences, starting from nothing. So, and I know right now, Jersey City does not have any money, right? So I know that we're starting from nothing. And so that's a part of my, experience as a small business owner, as a multi-home owner. I was an environmental commission right here in Jersey City. I resigned from the environmental commission so that I could be on the Jersey City Women's Advisory Board. I'm a former Jersey City Employment and Training Board member before the board was dissolved. And that is very significant to me because back, I don't remember the year, but this is back when Glenn Cunningham was still mayor. The Honorable Glenn Cunningham was still mayor. He gave me my very first award in Jersey City because when I went back to school, and I had to tap into Jersey City Employment and Training Center, I used the resources they gave and the money they gave me to go back to school. And when I started the company, when I started to work, every single time they were looking for someone, I would call them and hire people. And the mayor recognized that. And he said, wow, this woman is serious about helping her people. And I said, well, if they didn't want me to help people, they shouldn't have left the door open. Any crack, I'm opening it up for everybody that's coming behind me. And I did that. And so, again, that's something that has grounded me to be that person to help open doors for other people. And so I'm a leader. That's what's up. I've always been a leader.
You said something that stuck in my head. I want to go back to that.
Okay.
I want to go back to what you said about you spoke to your husband.
Yes, I did.
And he gave you this information.
Yes.
And you just went with it. How important it is to be a leader.
Yeah.
And be married.
Oh my God. Okay. So you have to be equally yoked. You have to have a balance in life. And so if I don't have a balance, a sounding board, someone that I can trust, because, the only other human in this world that I trust that much besides God is my husband. And then comes my BFF, right? Woo. And so my husband is that person that's going to go, all right, Pastor Tammy, check yourself. All right, Pastor Tammy, or all right, wife, listen, I'm the man. I see things that you don't see, and so even in this church business, because it's rough out here in these church streets, let me tell you, not everybody that got a collar on that says, Lord, Lord, is really saved. They're looking for certain things, right? And so it was my husband to let me know that may be a man of God, but he's still a man.
Right.
So that gave me a different outlook going into being a leader in the church arena, knowing that there are certain things that I have to be careful with. Don't be so trusting. And so in order to be a leader in any field, marriage is very important. This is my opinion. I believe that if you don't have someone that knows you, knows you, I don't wear makeup, but knows you, without the makeup and without, and that can be real with you and say, check yourself. Or that's not a good idea, or don't do that, or there's danger at the end of the street, and you can trust it blindly, then you cannot be an effective leader, period. And that's my opinion.
Now, that was a loaded answer.
It really was.
That's a loaded answer. Yeah. So would you say he's the head of household?
Absolutely. And if he was here, he would tell you, he's the boss, and I gave him permission to say that, right? But my husband and I have been together. We grew up together, technically. We raised our children as children together, technically. We came from nothing together. It was him who told me a long time ago that I see you as a leader in the political arena. And I laughed even when he told me. But he saw it because he knows his terminology is stop bootlegging that political position, because every single time something happens in the city, people call me, and then I have to call the city officials to get the answers for them. And he told me, when are you going to stop doing that and actually go into that seat so that you can be right there and you can have the direct connect instead of having to call different people? And shout out to all those people that pick up the phone every single time I call, because if someone has a problem, oh my God, I don't sleep. I don't sleep until I get an answer for them.
Wow.
I do not sleep. I advocate for them. I fight for them. I make sure that if there is an answer out there to be received, I'm going to make sure they get it. And I'm not that type of person to lie to someone and tell them that I have all the answers. I'm not.
Wow.
I'm honest. I'll come back to the table and say, give me a second. Let me circle back. and bring some truth to this, this equation right here. And so that's why Pastor Tami is trusted in Jersey City. That's why people believe me when I tell them something, or even if they ask me, for an honest opinion, I'm going to give it to them. And that's why. Yep.
That's a blessing. That's a blessing. So we're going to be right back. Give me 1 minute, y'all.
Yep.
We're going to be right back. All right. 1 minute.
Which hat she's wearing, she's always focused on one thing, and that's serving Jersey City. Tammy's running for city council to bring all her experience and all her hats to work for you. And I cheer her on in every role, because I'm her husband, Reverend Henry. And Tammy Many Hats is exactly what Jersey City needs.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. And that shows right there that brother is definitely got your back.
Absolutely.
He has your back. And I appreciate seeing something like that. I never seen a infomercial or commercial promoting someone in politics and their husband behind her or him, or the wife behind that person like that. Yep. That's really the first time I've seen that.
Oh, well, thank you. It's very important. It's very important. Yeah. Sometimes people, they go against the advice of their spouse. And then they hit a brick wall. And what happens when you hit a brick wall? You have to do a U-turn.
Right. Automatically.
And you have to turn around and go back to the direction that you came from. And so, even in marriage, there are times when you can agree to disagree. But let's talk it out. Let's figure out this is my perspective. That's your perspective. Let's see if we can find a happy medium here. And we do that. Because, sometimes we just think differently, but at the end of the day, the love is real. So I understand that it's coming from a pure place, no matter what that advice is. It's always coming from a pure place.
Wow. That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yep.
So what are the top 3 issues facing Jersey City that you plan to address immediately when you get elected?
Number one, show me the money. When I get elected, you said it the first time. Okay. When I get elected, I mean, come on, let's just be real. Pastor Tami has experience pretty much in every facet of this city. And so if people want tried and true, proven leadership, they want to vote for Pastor Tami. If people want someone that is going to bring integrity to that seat, they want to vote for Pastor Tami. So yeah, you said that correct the first time. Right. The very first thing I'm going to do is tell them, show me the money.
Oh, that's right.
Come on. I mean, we have to audit the finances, because this city is going to face such a dark period if we don't take the time to get our house in order financially, right?
Got it.
And so I don't trust anybody that tells me they're going to lower taxes. Come on. Everybody has always heard there's 2 things that are certain: death and taxes, right?
Facts.
So if somebody comes and tells me I'm going to lower your taxes, I don't trust them. So we have to get our house in order so that we can find different ways so that we can slow the bleeding. Because right now, financially, with these taxes, oh my God. I told you I'm a multi-homeowner in Jersey City. Right. So it's hitting me hard. And so definitely we need to do a financial audit and to see what we have and how we can utilize the resources we have more effectively.
Got it.
That's number one. Affordability. Oh my goodness. So
housing is a big topic.
Housing is...
as far as gentrification and all that stuff.
Yes, sir. That's top tier. Right. And so many people are saying, oh, what are you going to do, about the housing, and what are you going to do? Well, the very first thing is to implement different steps to what real affordable housing looks like. So we hear, affordable housing, but affordable for who? So if you think about it, there's the AMI, the AMI, right?
Got it.
Right. And so that AMI is based on the metro area, right? And so metro for us is what? Newark, New York, right?
Yeah.
And so when you have people coming from New York City that say, oh yeah, that's definitely affordable. It's affordable for them, but it's not affordable for the people that are born and raised in Jersey City.
Right.
It's not affordable for my cousins that had to move out and go somewhere else. It's not affordable for the little old lady that's aging in place that has to make a decision whether or not she's going to pay for her medication or make sure she pays her taxes. So it's not affordable. And so definitely we have to implement. First of all, we got to come back to the table and make sure that the AMI looks equitable for everyone, not equal, equitable, right? And equity means for that ward. So the AMI needs to be based ward by ward. If you're going to Ward F and you tell me that the AMI is exactly the same for Ward E downtown, you're wrong. And so obviously we need to come back to the table to make sure that the numbers are projecting the people that live there. And obviously there's a lot of diversification right now and the different communities and stuff like that, but still, we have to be fair to the people that have been here all of their lives. Yeah. And so I'm not one to say I'm going to make someone do something, because you can't make anybody do anything. Right. And so how do you protect affordable housing or housing in Jersey City? Number one, and I know Joyce talks about this all the time, but I also talk about it because home ownership is key in Jersey City right now. Yes. You have to own your own property. And in order to do that, there has to be different programs to teach you for home ownership. There has to be different grants or more grants for affordable housing in Jersey City. We have to get a seat at the table with the different developers that want to develop in our areas and say, if you want to come here and this particular ward, this is what we're looking for. Right. And so I'm all about having a seat at the table.
No doubt.
As the chair of the Women Advisory Board, that's exactly what we chose to be our mission statement, giving all the women in Jersey City a seat at the table. We need to have a seat at the table with the developers. We need to have a seat at the table with the infrastructure department. We need to have a seat at the table, period, so that our voices will be heard and they will understand that the people that live here and have been here all their lives can't afford the numbers that are being placed or pushed in their faces right now. So for me, it's very, 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 very important.
I hear your compassion, man. You have a great deal of compassion.
I do.
And I've noticed also you have done a few things years ago, for many years, for free.
Everything I do for free is free. My husband laughs at me. Yeah, sir. So people, I told you I'm the chaplain for the Jersey City Police Department, and I helped to instill that department. Right. Not only am I the chaplain for the West District, but I'm the chaplain for 1PP as well. Wow. What does that look like? When something happens to an officer, they call Pastor Tammy. Right. When there's a big incident in Jersey City, and there's a few that just happened very recently with deaths, and the 911 system, and those lovely individuals that are out there, shout out to Officer Blue, that are overseeing that command center. There's a certain level of devastation that they go through. Pastor Tammy has to go in and really sit and counsel them. Wow. And everything I do is done for free because I really believe in giving back. The gifts that God gave us pastors, the Bible says, freely I give, freely I receive, freely you give. Right. So I give back because I think it's my purpose in the earth. Right down to the Jersey City Women's Advisory Board. We're not getting paid for that. Right down to these different boards that I'm on. We don't get paid for that. Right down to me advocating for the National Coalition of 100 Black Women. Wow. We don't get paid for that. Wow. Our salary will be collected when we get to heaven. And so all the stuff that I'm doing, and I will continue to do, in addition to sitting in that seat, will continue to be free. And I'm never going to switch up. So what you see is what you get with Pastor Tammy.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Yeah. Well, you've been on your bike. You have a really big and long track record.
I do.
Without even
Yeah.
Okay. Small businesses are the backbone of the city.
Yes, sir.
Right? So how do you plan to support and grow local entrepreneurship, especially post-pandemic? We're not too far from the pandemic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, thank you for that's a loaded question. I love your questions. They're very loaded. So, small business. So, right now, according to the IRS, I'm no longer a small business after 17 years in business for myself. That's a good.
That's good.
But financially, taxes is not
right.
good, but it's good because I grew my company from the ground up.
Got
right.
it. And your name of the company is
Angels Care.
Got it.
Angels Care.
Okay.
And so I built that company from nothing, right? And so I had to take, when I left the public arena, I bought my 401k, blah, blah, blah. I did what I needed to do, right? And so, but it was a struggle. And so often you hear these loud, grand openings, but you don't hear the very soft, tearful grand closings of the businesses that are not being supported, right? And so I'm a firm believer, and there are finances out here that the city should be able to tap into, whether it's on a local level, whether it's on a state level or a federal level. And I'm ready, willing and able to sit down and do the homework so that we can be a helpmate to those small businesses, so that we can help push and propel them to their next level. Council President, what she wants to do, and I love this, she wants to do like a trust fund for small businesses, where different businesses, when they're opening, they can tap into this, trust fund, so to speak. If the terminology is wrong, but it's like a fund, right? These finances, and they can tap into it to help them build up their business. Nice. And then, there won't be a very large amount of interest to pay it back, but you have to pay it back because you have to replenish. Right. Because then this particular trust fund for these small businesses will not be built on the backs of the people in Jersey City. Right. Because every time you hear something for free, what's really free? Nothing in Jersey City is free. And so when COVID hit, particularly, and at the time I was still considered small business, there were a lot of businesses that didn't have like PPE equipment. Right. And in order for you to continue to operate, you had to have PPE equipment. Right. So I personally, and at the time I had just had surgery because I was hit by a car a couple of years ago. Wow. I had like this neck, thank you. Wow. I had this neck brace on, I had screws and everything. But my husband, we were in the car, driving around New York City, streets are shut down, finding PPE equipment. And when I finally found a place that was willing to ship to me and bring over to me, I didn't just gatekeep. I went to the other small businesses. I went to the churches. Wow. I was given even to other home care agencies because they closed their doors. We never closed our doors. We never, ever closed our doors during COVID. We continued to provide services to the community. The churches, some of the churches were still open, so they still needed PPE equipment. So I made sure that I give to them. And I did the same across the board. And actually I got an award. Shout out to Pastor Wendy girl. Because she gave me an award because I did so much during COVID. And so let me go back to small businesses. Okay. At that time, a lot of small businesses went out of business because there were no finances. And I know that Joyce, council president at the time, she went to the different developers and she said, these small businesses are bleeding. We need, these resources for them. And guess what? She was able to get that and help them. So I am a firm believer in making sure that any resource that is out there for these small businesses, we should be able to streamline that. Definitely even permits. How many times do you see people like us that they want to start a business and like the red tape is so heavy? We need to streamline that process. No doubt. Like, and even in the home care arena, people say, if she can do it, I can do it. Well, guess what? If you really want to do it, I'm not a gatekeeper. I'm going to give you home care 101. And I do it for people all the time. And then I realized they didn't really want to open it. They just wanted to get in my business. It's fine. Wow. But I don't gatekeep. And so when it comes to these small businesses, we want to make sure that they have the capital so that they can survive and thrive, during their businesses. So small businesses is very, very, very close and dear to my heart. And I know for a fact, that is one of the first things that Council President Joyce Waterman will do when she wins for mayor is to make sure that these small businesses will get this loan program with a very small interest rate, and they'll be able to go out there and do what they do best with the city backing them every step of the way.
That's what's up. What's up. That was a loaded answer.
It was, but it came from the heart. Because let me tell you, when I started, I didn't have this stuff. I didn't have anybody. Everything I did on my own. Wow. I wrote my own policies and procedures. When I told you I had to go through the grit and the grace, I did that, but God told me to do it. And so, even back to your very first question, why did I run? I ran not only because they ticked me off trying to steal our legislation, but because God told me to do it. Do you know that I had friends coming to me from the north, the south, east, and the west and saying, don't get mad at me. And I'm like, why? God wants you. I'm like, don't even finish the sentence. They're like, he wants you to get into the political arena. I'm like, but why?
Wow.
That had to happen with that legislation to make me mad, to make me want to fight, because I had already knew that it's something God wanted me to do. I was one of the first people that council president came to run on her ticket because she knows me. Not only does she know me because of all the things that I've done and I'm doing in the city, but she's a friend. And so people say to me, why are you with her? Do you know, I need an ally when I get to City Hall. I mean, if they want Pastor Tami to be a councilwoman at large in that seat, I'm going to need an ally across the table so that when I'm pushing certain legislation and laws for the people in Jersey City, I need someone that's going to go, that's a great idea. Let's push and propel that to the next level, not shoot it down because she's not one of us.
Wow, that's
so yeah, that's, yeah.
I like that. I like that. Wow.
Yeah.
Man, you're compassionate. Serious.
It's real. It's real. It's what you see is what you get.
Yeah. And then you to go back to saying, looking at you, said, I don't wear makeup.
I don't, yeah.
And it's like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Man, get that out of here.
Yeah.
That's a blessing.
Yeah.
That's a blessing, man. So you are real as they come.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm not going to give you a soundbite just to get in that seat. I'm not running on promises.
Got it.
I'm running on a path that I've already paved. I've paved this path, and I've been doing it all my life. And so what you see now is what you're going to get there. But even on a grander scale at another level, so that the people of Jersey City will understand that woman, if she says she's fighting for you, she's fighting for you. And let me tell you something. I go toe to toe for people. And right now, as the chair of the Women's Advisory Board, oh my God, you have no idea the women. I received the Purple Diamond Award from Sarah's Daughters. Reverend Dr. Bertha Reels, right?
Okay, yeah.
She gave me the Purple Diamond Award. It's one of the most prestigious awards you can give through her organization. She gave that to me because of my advocacy for women and domestic violence victims, because my mother was a domestic violence not a victim. I don't want to say victim, survivor. We have victims and then we have survivors, right? Victims succumb. Survivors are still here and we're fighting the good fight, right? Mm-hmm. And so she gave me that award, and I didn't even know. It was a surprise. Like, I had all friends and family there and they gave it to me. But I said that to say this. After I received that award and it went public, do you know that I had people calling me, and I'm talking everywhere, but I want to talk about Jersey City. Leaders in Jersey City. Every level in Jersey City calling to get a way out, to talk about what they're going through. And so certain ones needed help. They really needed help. And I helped them and I fought for them, and I'm still fighting for them with this legislation that we passed, and still forming the actual ordinance in Jersey City for the women in Jersey City. Because what can you do in this earth without a woman? You can't come into the earth without a woman. So we need to protect the women. We need to protect the women at all costs. And my mission in life has always been to be the person to put on my invisible gloves and fight for the person that don't know how to fight for themselves. It's always been, and I'm never going to change that. I'm never going to change that.
Nice.
And they need someone that's going to bring that to that seat. They definitely need someone. And if we need to close the door when we get in City Hall and hash it out, and then come back out to the public and say, this is what we're going to do, I'm going to do that. But that's going to happen with transparency, because the people need to know also what happens if something they ask me to do doesn't get passed. They need to know. Transparency is very key in this administration. It's key.
There's a lot of people that going for certain jobs, as far as construction. There's a lot of buildings being built up in Jersey City. There's a lot of sites being, there's no Black people. I'm keeping it honest and real. There's no Black people on some of these jobs. What are you going to do, or how are you going to help to assist Black-owned companies to get these contracts?
Okay, well, let's look at that as a whole. So I'm very passionate about anything happen in Jersey City needs to come from Jersey City, right? And so what I mean by that is I have a problem with people driving into the city and telling the people in Jersey City what to do and driving back out on certain levels, right? So I believe that every time that there is a position open, it should be offered to someone that lives in the city first. So if someone's going to come in and build in the city, then they need to bring Jersey City developers to the table first, not just Black. Jersey City, right? Okay. Because I'm for everyone, right? I get that. Right? And so I know for a fact that Council President has advocated for certain, for different contractors of color in the city. Right. And they've been able to get contracts in this city. And so that's also something that we're going to bring to the table for everyone that it's Black and brown and minority, period. Right. They need to have their voices at that table as well. So I believe in transparency when it comes to bidding, the bidding process, because in order for you, some contracts, you have to bid for them. Right. There should be total transparency across the table. It needs to go up. We need to create some type of board so that immediately when something, a new contract or a new contractor or developers come into the table, we need to be able to say, would you mind, prior to us actually discussing if you can even build here in the city, would you mind discussing the people of Jersey City first? Because the people in Jersey City are very important to us. And so, everything is based on a conversation. Everything is based on a conversation. If you think about it, you go to different companies and you have the older individuals that are looking to retire and they want to sell their businesses. Sometimes if they're not going to give those businesses to their children, the first thing they'll say to the person that's buying it, because I've been in business for a long time, hire my child. Would that be a part of your contract? Hire my son. Okay. Hire my daughter so she can still be a part of something that I built. Okay. Well, can you hire the sons and daughters of Jersey City so they can still be a part of what they've built? That's what's up. Because we've been here all our lives. That's what's up. Right?
Yep, that's deep. So, public safety is always a concern. How do you plan to work with the police?
I'm already doing it.
The community.
Yeah, that's
safety, trust.
Yeah,
safety and trust.
That's another loaded question, right? And so, as I alluded to earlier, I am the chaplain for the Jersey City Police Department, right? So I'm already on the front line for Jersey City. I'm already the bridge, right? I'm the bridge here in Jersey City. I'm the person that they call when there's a problem. I'm the person that they call if there's a murder. I'm the person that they call if there's a shooting, if there's a death, if there's an accident, there's a tragedy. I'm the person that they call. I'm the person that they call when Director Moody is doing her different block parties within the city. Okay. All 4 wards for the seniors in the summer. I'm there on the front line. All 4 wards for the children in the city, I'm there on the front line. Everybody knows Pastor Tammy. I am that bridge in the city. So I'm already at the table when it comes to public safety. So I think I have a unique position and perspective when it comes to public safety. I was given the opportunity, and the other chaplains as well, to be able to attend the trainings that they give here in Jersey City. Some of the trainings that the police department has, we get them as well. Okay. My son, he was 18 at the time. He just turned 22. Thank God, out my house, has his own house. Right. Shout out to him, right? But he was 18 at the time when they did the first active shooter training in Jersey City. Okay. And my son played a shooting victim. Right, it was on stage, but he was able to experience that for himself, and so these are the different things that Director Moody and the police department has brought to the city, so that we can actually experience what's going on. De-escalation training in Jersey City. When I brought the chaplain program to Jersey City and to the other pastors, I had already been a chaplain, a police chaplain in other cities before bringing it here. And so with that, I already brought my different training and my diverse background to the table. I'm also the chaplain for several hospitals, including Summit Overlook Hospital. I'm the person that they call in the middle of the night when someone is called cold blue, and they don't want to tell the family without someone being a buffer there. I'm that person. Wow. And so these are the things that I bring to the table when it comes to public safety. I'm the person that the community, and I'm not going to name any names, just I had a call 2 days ago. I told you I was homesick, I had to reschedule. An incident happened about a week and a half ago. And this incident, someone shared this incident with me. I was that buffer. Wow. No. this can't be, let's address this, and let's address this now.
Right.
And shout out that went forward, and there was a conversation, and that incident that took place is being addressed right now. Let's put it like that, right? And so I am that person, but I'm not the person in the front of the camera saying, look what I did. That's not who I am. It's never been who I am. It's never going to be who I am. Okay. I'm the person that's in the background going, no.
Right.
Put that down. No. Don't make me call your mother. Right. I remember when, I'm that person. I'm that person. Right. I'm that person that says, no, there's another way. There's a better way.
Right.
I'm that person that was working with the police department in 2021 when my daughter was killed in Jersey City on these streets on my watch as chaplain.
Your daughter? You
didn't hear about this?
Oh,
Family and I lost our daughter, Felicia, 2021. She was an innocent victim walking on. Let me back up with that because I don't want to graze by this. A lot of people know my story, but not everybody.
Right. Well, I've definitely done it.
Okay, so as the chaplain of the Jersey City Police Department, and this is why I'm very uniquely qualified, right? Someone had just been killed on MLK, right? And so my daughters and my husband, we were going to go out to brunch that day, right. And some lady just comes and she goes, someone was killed around the corner. And I said to my daughters, where's your father? We need to get out of here because they're going to call me to go to the scene.
Right.
And so maybe they thought I was just, whatever, trying to be braggadocious. But I knew that I was going to get that call because I show up. Sure enough, the phone call happens. And Director Moody will confirm this. I never say no. And I didn't say no. But what I said to her is, you know what? Allow me to just come a little later because I really want to spend this time with our daughters. Like, I just feel like it's necessary. She said, okay, fine. Call me when you're on your way back. We went to IHOP. We had a beautiful brunch. My daughters were having some issues. They hashed it out. It was like a cleansing for them. It was beautiful. We come back. Director Moody comes to the scene. She hugs my daughter. She hugged Felicia. We still got the video and everything. Felicia left. We left. I went to the scene, right? I went to the scene. I ministered to the family. I walked with the family through the entire process, right? Prayed with them. And this is nothing new to me. It's what I have been doing the whole while, right?
Wow.
2 days later, like my daughter was supposed to come back the next day because we had just painted my house. It was turned upside down. She's like, I can't come today because I have a housing inspection. I'll come tomorrow. Right. That night, that particular night, when she said she was going home, I'm like, make sure you go home and don't go on the hill because she knew the family of the person that was killed. Don't go there. She's like, no, I'm not. I promise. She wasn't there they had a vigil for him. Wow. She wasn't there. She was walking across the street from the vigil. Oh, and so someone at the vigil heard, hear this, a car backfired and thought someone was shooting and started shooting. And she was an innocent victim.
Wow.
And so
I heard about that. Wow. But
she lost her life. She lost her life. Thank you for that. Wow. She lost her life. Innocent victim. And it happened on my watch as a chaplain. And so I didn't wild out and I didn't do a lot of things that could have been done, right? Yes. A lot of things that could have been done. Didn't do that. What I did was I was that bridge. I even eulogized her. I did what I needed to do. My own child, right? Wow. Lives were saved. People gave their lives to Christ as a result of that.
Come on.
But I said all that to say this. You need someone that's level-headed, someone that's like still. I don't bend under fire. I never back down. When that incident, I said, we can't bring her back. There's nothing I could do to bring her back. If I could trade my life, I would do it, but I can't. Woo. So while I'm here in this earth and I still have breath in my body, I need to be able to be a bridge between the police department and the public. And the people need to see someone that has been there, done that, every level, no income, low income, low income. Come on. You have to be real in the city that you're born and raised in and never change. I didn't change then. Even the mayor, when I talked to him, he said to me, is this going to change you? I said, absolutely not. If anything, I want to go further. And it was him. He came to her services. It was him that said, how would you feel about sitting on the Jersey City Employment and Training Board? I said, I'd be honored. I'd be honored because now I can help more people that are minorities, right? I can help more people to navigate the system the way I did, and I got that award umpteen years ago.
Right.
I can help more people to see that you can really get a hand up from the city, if you're really applying yourself. And so when it comes to the police department, the chaplains, we get the ComStats, we know the numbers, we know the figures, we know the training, we know what's going on in this city. And every time there's a change in this city, we have a seat at the table. We have a seat at the table. And I think that is, for us, we have a vested interest in our people because we're not getting paid.
Wow.
The people that are showing up,
that's deep.
No matter what, when there's no paycheck at the end of the table, those are the people that you can look to and trust and know that they're here for real for the community.
For real. Wow.
Not for the paycheck.
That is deep. Woo! Come on, man. I hear the reverend in you now.
I'm trying not to preach, but it's in me. It comes out. It is what it is. There's nothing I can do. But I know, even for the police department, I'm here for the public, but I'm also here for the police department. Do you know one of the first things I want to advocate for is mental health days for the police department? Wow. I'm also called when a police officer takes his life.
Wow.
I have to be there with the families, holding their hand through the entire process, even after.
Wow.
So mental health days is very important,
yes,
not just sick and personal.
That's right.
Maybe today, maybe just maybe that person needs a mental health day.
Right.
That's very important to me. Even we had an incident last year where a young lady lost her life, child, high school, still in contact with the family. Nice. Still in contact. I was their chaplain. I held them through the whole process. I did the funeral, and I do that for free as well. Mm-hmm. When someone is killed in the city or something happens in the city, if they don't have someone, I'm there. And I'm not holding my hand out because I don't charge for nothing I do. Weddings, funerals. I don't do bar mitzvahs, right? But I do everything, and I don't charge. Because sometimes people are just going through a hard time. They're about to make one of the most difficult decisions in their entire life they're ever going to make. How they're going to bury their child. They need to worry about finances and how to pay for this too. Not taking away from anybody that does charge, but I don't. Right? And so that's why I know that I can be that bridge for the police department. And I have a very decent relationship with everybody in the police department. Right. And I say decent because they know Pastor Tammy steps on toes sometimes, but I do it out of love.
Right.
I do it out of love.
And sometimes you're going to. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to.
I know I have to. In order for you to clean something up, things have to get messy first, right?
That's facts.
So we got some things to clean up. So I'm here for all of it.
Let's see what the chat is saying.
The chat is saying.
Well, someone said
I was there. Okay, she was there when I was with the public company. Actually, she was with me at the other company when I resigned.
Gully.
Gully was there when I resigned from the other company. And I told them, before you use me to fire them, I quit. And I left and started my own business. And she's the only person I took.
Wow.
But I had to wait 1 year. Let me tell you something. I am such a threat to certain different organizations that when I left to start my own business, and Guli, you can confirm this, that company that I left, it was a public company, they went down to Trenton and they put a law in place that no agency, patients or employees can transfer to another agency for 1 year so that I would bleed financially for a whole year so that my business will go under. But because my business is something that God ordained, not only did it survive, it thrived. Here we are 17 years ago, and I just told you I'm no longer a small business.
Come on, man. That's a blessing.
Facts, not fiction. These are facts and not fiction. Yeah.
Wow. What did Deborah say? Deborah said, Muhammad said, peace and blessings.
Peace.
Peace and blessings to you as well, Miss Muhammad. What's up, Ness? Thanks for chiming in. Appreciate you. Much love and respect. Much love and respect. And she said, hey, cousin, and Tammy.
My cousin Vanessa is an award-winning singer. She just, I don't even want to. Vanessa's my cousin.
My cousin too.
Excuse me. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Ness, you hear this?
That's Powers. Yeah.
Wait a minute. When she was saying, "Hey, cousin," she was talking to me.
No, she was talking to me.
No,
Ness, better tell her.
Let him know. Now I think we're going to talk behind the scenes.
Cousin Tammy.
Yes.
And she didn't say nothing to me.
Nothing. She did say one because you said. You said if you could hear me, type one.
She did. Yeah,
That's what she said.
Yeah, okay. We over here fighting over you. That's
That's my cousin, so you know she's gifted in every way.
She really is. Yeah, she
She really is.
No doubt, no doubt. Wow, what a coincidence.
Yeah, small world, right?
Small world, small world. So next question we're going to get to is going to be what's your take on the current state of public schools and how can the city council support improvement?
Well, that's, again, it's a loaded question, but you do know that the city does not oversee the schools, right? That's a state, that's a board of education, right? And so, while city council doesn't control the school board, I support safe and very equitable changes for the city.
Got it.
Right? When it comes to the board of education. And what I mean by that is, I believe when people are teaching different ethnicities their history in the school, number one, it needs to be factual and not based on someone in a lab creating something and teaching our children that that's their history, because it's not, right? It's not. So let's start there, right?
That's good stuff.
At the same time, I don't believe that the school books that are so antiquated and old is something that our children should still be utilizing.
Right.
And so for me, I think it's very important that not only do we have a seat at the table with the Board of Education, because that's key. Communication is key. Seat at the table so that we can sit down and talk about the problems that these different moms are bringing to the table. Listen, why do we need to recreate the wheel when you have these PTA boards? You have mothers. And mothers go hard for their children.
Sure enough.
Shout out to Jersey City moms. They go hard for their children. And I can say their children because my kids are grown finally. Thank you, Jesus.
No doubt.
I have grandchildren that are still out there, but my kids are grown. And so we have these mothers that are out there on the front line for their children, fighting and advocating and telling the schools and us, the community, what they need in order for their children to survive and to thrive. And I think it's up to us to give them a seat at the table so that the best way forward would be based on the voices that are actually real, not based on sound bites in a back room. Year after year, this city is not only is the city hit with taxes, bless you, not only is the city hit with tax hikes because of what happens with the Board of Education. I think that we need to protect, bless you, we need to protect the resources that we currently have so that we'll have a cushion to help them out along the way when something happens with the schools, because those children are our future. Those are the future leaders in Jersey City. Those are the people that are going to need us to be there at the table fighting for them and advocating for them to make sure that they're getting quality education, not just being pushed through the pipeline to prison. And I mention that sometimes, and I think it's very important because in the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, shout out to them, Bergen Passaic chapter again, they talk to us and they teach us about the prison to pipeline. And so when you see that there's not equity, right? Across the board for our children when they're suffering financially, or educationally. The parents may be suffering financially because they can't send them to private schools. So our children are in different schools and they're suffering educationally. And instead of trying to tap into that mind, because certain children are created different. They have different minds. You have to tap into that creativity. They label them, right? And so I have so many moms that used to come to me and cry because the schools are calling them and forcing them to come and get their kids or forcing them to miss work for meetings and so forth and so on. And I take those parents and I do for them what I did for my children. I give them Board of Education 101. I sit them down and tell them, this is the book. This is what the state says. If your child is struggling, you are allowed to have an aide to sit in the classroom with that child. You are allowed to have someone to give you feedback or have different booklets every single day. There's so many different things you can do for these children instead of just labeling them, putting them on a bus and sending them off. So eventually you're sending them on that bus because you feel that along the line somewhere, and not everybody, because I have a lot of educators in my family. I have a lot of educators that are my friends that are out there that need love from the city as well to fight for them, right? But at the same time, the ones that don't live here sometimes, they give these children a bad rap. And the children just need someone to listen to them and to listen to their concerns and to listen to what they're going through. If a child is hungry, do you really think they're going to be able to focus in the classroom?
Not
If
at
a
all.
child has someone or something going on at home where they don't feel safe, and they're not even sleeping at night because they're up watching the other siblings, because that happens too. Do you
Right.
think they're going to be able to focus? We need
Not
more
at all.
teachers or educators that actually love our children, right? And they are part of that village that are going to say, wait a minute, come over here. You may be bad and you do all that nonsense outside, but in here, in my classroom, I'm going to help you because you're going to be someone. And shout out to my principal, Dan Cupo, who was the very first person to talk at my kickoff back in March, because he was the father to our community on Van Wagen Avenue.
On Van Wagen.
My father wasn't there. Dan Cooper was a father to the entire community. And he showed up for me when I told him I was going to run, because he told me a long time ago, you're going to be something great. That man was a mentor.
Wow.
He was an advocate. He was someone that was on the front line for the different family members that didn't have a man in the house. And even the ones that did have a man in the house that were working double jobs, right? Right? And so their moms or someone that was being ran over by the children, he would step in and say, not on my watch.
No doubt.
Not on my watch. So there's a lot of different things we can do in the city for the Board of Education. There's a lot of different ways that we can help the Board of Education, help our children. And so that's what I believe in. It takes a village. It takes a village.
How do you plan on engaging, young people and make them feel included in city politics?
Listen. Back in February, I did a post-election seat at the table for all the female politicians, right?
Okay.
And shout out to Denise Wilkerson, my girlfriend. You did an interview with her, right? She was from Union, right? And so we had this thing at the library, right? And so we had all the politicians, and it was like off the cuff. Like I was the moderator. I asked questions, and they gave honest answers, right? But in the audience was, and shout out to Sam Ortiz, was Sam, and he brought his daughters, right? Okay. And they were in the audience and they engaged. And I said to them, how would you guys feel about being like a junior board for us, or having your different issues brought to the table, right? Yes. And so they were very, very much interested, right? And so I think to engage the younger community, we need to have junior council boards, like, something that they can get together maybe once a month. Nice. We need to have,
that's a good idea.
We have to engage them. And even if they don't come in physically, or maybe they do want to have, we'll have a space for them, a safe space, or maybe we can engage them where they can come together on Zoom. However it happens, but their voices are very important, because you know what? Children can sometimes tell you the solution to a problem that you never asked. Ooh. I was a child raising other children for my mother, right? Facts. Because I had to learn that. So these their voices are so important. I was with a couple of kids a couple of weeks back, and they're like, we need to be able to vote, at the age of 16. I said, that's something that we can fight for when I get in. If you're mature enough and you can go to the polls and you can say what you want and you can voice your concerns, then you should be able to vote. So that's another thing. We need to tap into the young creative minds that these children have. And let me tell you something. We have some very, very talented children in this city.
Facts.
Very talented. Facts. And so, and obviously we can use social media, to tap into these children as well, because they need a voice. They need somewhere to express their concerns, including the children that the Jersey City has thrown away.
Facts.
Jersey City look currently at the young men and women that are on the corners and saying that they're just, throwaways, or they don't want anything from their lives. No. They want someone to listen to them. Right. They want someone to see them. Facts. They want someone to say, get your butt in the house. They want someone to love them.
Yep.
They want someone to love them.
They want that tough love.
Thank you.
They really do.
Because they're not getting that. And so, yes, I'm going to make sure that, Pastor Tammy is going to be that bridge for the young ones as well, because they deserve it. They deserve it.
That's what's up. All right. A lot of loaded answers here.
Well, it's the truth.
You know what I mean? And if you feel like you're definitely going to vote for Miss Tammy, put a 1 in the chat. No, put a 2 in the chat.
Right.
Put a 2 in the chat. We don't want to confuse the volume with voting. All right? So, are there any initiatives you're proposing to help create jobs? Opportunities, especially for the youth and, formerly incarcerated residents?
Oh, well, I'm happy you said that. Again, everything is loaded with me, right?
No doubt.
So let's start with jobs, right? So my very first job was Cedar. You remember Cedar?
I remember Cedar, yeah.
So I had a job where I worked in the tax board, 595, right? And it was a part-time job, and I did such a great job that they hired me. That even after the summer was over, I would go and do part-time there while I was in school.
Nice.
And so because I had the drive to do something for my family, for my mother, and so definitely it's very important that we help these children help themselves. And some of them are in situations where they don't have parents that can buy them brand new clothes every time, a holiday or something. So we need to be able to help create summer jobs and work with the local community programs that are here. Like I don't believe in recreating the wheel. There are a lot of different programs. Shout out to Pal that are out here helping our children be great. Okay, and they are great. And so I think it's very important that not only do we push for different apprentice programs, right? Instead of prison to pipeline, how about let's do some apprentice pipelines, for our children to help build them up. Tomorrow, I'm being honored at Scores Reentry. It's a reentry program, right? They're giving me an award for the work that I'm doing in the community. But Scores Reentry also, they work with different individuals that are incarcerated. They come home. They help them to get back out in society so that they can be productive. I believe in second chances, third chances. The Bible says how many times will you forgive a person? 70 times 7. Woo! Right? And so if the person that's in the highest office of the United States is a felon and he still has a job, then that means that there's no one that should be thrown away or discarded because of something they did in the past.
That's a fact.
Right?
Say that again right there.
Okay. All right. So what I'm saying is that everybody deserves a second, third, and maybe even fourth chance because every single person has issues in life where sometimes they fall down. It takes a real strong person to help them get back up and stay there. And these different programs that are out here, re-entry programs for those that have been incarcerated, after school programs, different programs that are in the city where we can do apprenticeship for our youth to get them out there and working and productive, it can happen. And if the person that is in the highest office right now in the United States is a felon, that means that nobody should be discarded or thrown away because of something that they did in the past. Period.
That was a loaded answer. That was a loaded statement. That's deep. Yeah. What y'all think about that? If you got any questions, if you got any statements for Tammy, you can go ahead and put it on a comment board, or if you like, you want to say something to her, you want to ask her a question, you can always call in as well. So whoever want to call in, want to put that number on the comment board or on the screen right now. So there it is. So if you want to call in, you can do that, all right?
Please do.
Please
There's no question is off the table.
That's right. Any question you want to ask, you can ask her right now.
Yeah.
All right? Any concerns you have, you can ask her right now. Okay.
And while you're calling in, I will also want to say we need to support entrepreneurial programs for the youth.
No doubt.
Obviously for adults, but for the youth, because I think usually in high school, a kid kind of sort of knows which way they want to go. We need to tap into that. Yeah. There's so many different things that they've taken out of the schools. Yeah. Like we had home ec, what they call it, life services. Yeah. Like we had shop. People
home economics.
Knew how to work on cars. Like me, I learned how to sew, make clothes by going to home ec in school.
You still do that?
Yeah, absolutely. In my side time, I don't do it as a gig. So don't call me for that.
I got you.
But it's very personal for me. But I make all my stuff. I'm very creative.
I need a shirt. No.
Yeah. Only band shirt I'm sewing is my husband's, period. Right? But so I think we need to get some different entrepreneurial programs in Jersey City for these youth and put that back in school. Like those, I mentioned that a couple of months back. We were talking with some local pastors about putting these different home ec programs back into the schools. And they had a difference of opinion. And I respect everybody's opinion. But at the end of the day, you have young mothers out here that don't know how to cook. You have young mothers that don't know how to take care of their children. And so these programs in the school will help them that would help them to prepare for life. If it had not been for the things that my grandmother and my mother taught me, maybe I wouldn't have been able to survive. But there were also some things that I learned in school that I still carry with me to this very day. My grandmother didn't teach me how to sew. School did. Not only did I sew and I made my own clothes, I went in school and modeled those clothes to different programs. My history is very long and very vast, but it's because of I tapped into what the city offered me.
Got it.
Yep.
Wow. How will you ensure transparency?
Oh my God.
How would you include the voices of those who often feel unheard?
Wow, you're just speaking my whole testimony. So I asked a couple of my girlfriends months ago, give me a couple of words, describe me.
To describe you. Okay.
And one of the very first things, they were all unanimously in agreement with transparency.
Got it.
Right. And so I believe in transparency. I believe in trust. And so when I get there to that seat, not only am I going to make sure that I'm still transparent, but I'm going to hold the town halls. I'm going to make sure that people have access to me. Do you know, I'm 30 years in the home care business, 17 years in Angels Care, and I still have an open door policy. Any of my employees can walk into my office at any point in time with a personal problem, because I'm their chaplain too, I'm their pastor too, or business problem. So I believe in transparency. I'm going to be in the office. I'm going to be boots on the ground. I'm going to be going from ward to ward. One of the very first things I want to do once I get in there, not just doing it during the political time, but even after I get there, is doing listening sessions. Right. When we first started the Women's Advisory Board, we had town halls where we sat and we listened to the women, and the women told us their issues. They told us why they were facing these issues and what they were going through, and that they had no one that would actually listen to them, to be there for them. So it's going to be the same across the board when I get to that seat, to make sure that I'm there on the front line for the people that are having problems, that people can come and talk to me, and make sure that my staff knows that if I'm not in the office, the same thing I say at Angels Care, if I'm not there and someone says that they need me, give them my cell phone. Right. Do you know my cell phone number hasn't changed in 22 years?
22 years. Woo.
And I still answer it.
That's what's up.
I don't have a secretary.
That's what's up.
I answer my own phone. It's going to be the same when I get to that seat. They're going to still be able to call me, still be able to talk about any issue that they have, and they'll be able to bring it to my table, because at the opposite side, there'll always be an empty seat for them at my table.
That's what's up. Let's go to the chat. So Deep Cova said, my president.
Who?
I think it's Deep Cove. Said, my president.
Okay.
Deep Cova, what's good? I'm from YouTube. Much love, respect. Also, Deep Cove said, what can we do with disciplinary problems with Jersey City classrooms?
Go up. They said I answered their question with that.
They said you answered that question.
I'm a mom, babe. I'm a mom.
Knowing my question.
Yeah,
Good
exactly.
job, President.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Anybody want to call in, you can. Like I said, the number is on the screen. You can call in if you like, okay? And I'm going to continue to ask her a few more questions. Okay.
Oh, okay. My girlfriend said drink some water. Yes, ma'am.
She got your back. She got your back. Okay. Will you support or introduce mentorship or after-school programs for our kids?
Absolutely. Right. And I think we probably tapped on that a little bit when I talked about the children.
Exactly.
But there's a lot of latchkey kids, and I know a lot of us were latchkey kids where our parents run home, you go home, you lock that door, you don't open that door for anybody but me, right?
That's right?
But the parents need help. Yeah. Because nowadays we're dealing with that new math, right? And so when my last son was in school, I literally had to go and sit down in those little tiny chairs, and they had to teach me that new math.
Wow.
Because I was like, no, this is how you do it. And he's like, it's going to be marked wrong. And I'm like, I need to see. Right. And so those after-school programs will help the children with their homework. Right. And also, it also gives the children the time, the opportunity to talk to the teachers without them being in such a structured environment, right? And that's when they build relationships. Like my brother-in-law, he's a teacher. He's been a teacher in Jersey City forever. Shout out to, they call him Mr. D.
Mr. D. All
Mr.
right.
D, right? But he's been a mentor. There's no kid that he's ever mentored that doesn't circle back and thank him
Right.
when they go to that next level in life, because he pours into the children, and he's poured into the children that people look at as bad apples or bad seeds. They're not bad apples. They're not bad seeds.
Right.
Sometimes they just come from a bad situation or a bad environment
Facts.
where they need someone to teach them and show them
Facts.
what they should, could, and would do so that they can get up, a leg up in life. So
Nice.
yes, my child, thank God he was in Golden Door Charter School, brain fog for a minute. And so we were able to drop him off at 7:00 in the morning, and he had an after school program, pick him up at 6:00. And thank God for that, because I was starting my new business. I was boots on the ground all day, every day. So I did the drop off and went to work. My husband did the pickup, but he was working.
Right.
So we need to have these after school programs. Mentorship, let me tell you something. Sometimes, 7 kids, we learned.
Right.
Sometimes your kids just don't want to listen to you. Like, you give them your opinion about something and they look at you like you have double heads. And especially right now, we have this whole Google, arena where people think that kids think they can Google everything, right?
And they do.
And it's a lie half the time. But here's the thing. Do you know that you can come and say something to one of these kids and give them a whole different perspective, and they'll believe it?
Yeah.
So I think mentorship is very, very important. Kids need to hear things from a different perspective and stop just looking at like, oh, just my parents trying to browbeat me again.
Right.
At the end of the day, we only want what's best for them. Right. But when you have mentors, someone that has a vested interest into pouring into the youth of tomorrow or our leaders of tomorrow, they're going to give them to them, again, like I say, straight, no chaser. And the kids respect that. Kids respect that.
They do. How do you plan to work with other council members? Especially when there's agreements on key issues.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different, issues, people that, don't agree.
Mm-hmm.
How do you plan on working?
33 years, right? I've been married for almost 34 years.
A lot of practice, huh?
I have a lot of practice, right? Agree to disagree.
That's what's up.
But I'm a firm believer in everybody's voice matters, right? And so I'm not a hot-headed person. I don't fly off the handle.
Easy to anger. Like that type of person.
No. The Bible says be slow to speak and quick to listen. So I pay attention. I listen, right? I'm not very easily provoked to wrath. I'm that person. Like I told you, there was just a different incident that just happened in the city. Wow. And I was that voice of reason and go, Nope. Yeah. I'm the person that's going to stand back and look at things from all angles. And after I assess the situation, if it's coming from a pure place, I'm going to voice my opinion, and then maybe I can agree to disagree. But if I know it's not coming from a pure place and it's coming from someone with an agenda, then we're going to address that. But everything that I do, Women's Advisory Board, National Coalition for 100 Black Women, a pastor, let me tell you something. I told you I don't charge people when I marry them. You know what my charge is? I have to mentor you. I have to do counseling. If you don't let me counsel you, I'm not marrying you. And everybody I've ever married, they're still married. Why? Because sometimes, you want to get married for the wrong reasons, right? And so I always tell people, when you're going into a relationship, when you get married, your BFF is your spouse.
Wow. And
so when you get mad at them, you don't run and tell your BFF everything that's happening in your house. Because at the end of the day, when the two of you are back together, she's going to be looking at them sideways.
Exactly.
Keep your business in your house unless it's a dangerous situation, obviously, right?
Of course, yeah.
But at the same time, I believe in mentoring people and talking to them and getting their perspective and helping them to see the other side, because you don't want to bring that into a relationship.
Facts.
Because if you do that, then you're going to have a disagreement early on and you're not going to know how to deal with it. Facts. And so when it comes to different boards, same with this board. Thank you for Council President Joyce Waterman. No doubt. When she started this board for Jersey City Women's Advisory Board, do you know that she brought in someone from out of town who was a mentor? She was a political advisor to President Barack Obama. Joyce paid for her to come in and to train us on how to be a board. And I've been on plenty of other boards, but this board is inaugural, right? And so she wanted to teach us how to be a board members from the ground up and how to work with one another. And at the end of the day, you know, one thing that I'll never, her name is Cheryl, one thing I'll never, ever, ever, ever forget. She says, even if you guys agree to disagree, the board leads.
Wow.
So no matter what decision I ever make, the board leads. And so when it comes to city council, right, I can come in there with my opinion, they'll have their opinion, but at the end of the day, guess what? The city leads. It's the community that's going to lead us. They're the taxpayers. They're the ones that are driving. Facts. So we're going to do what's best for the community.
Nice.
Right? And so I can adhere when something is not going my way and agree to, you know, hash this out and come back at the end of the day.
No doubt.
I'm a firm believer in doing that. I'm not a hothead.
Well, we're going to take this call. Who was that calling? Could you call back? I see that you call.
Whoever you are, call us back.
Right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Call back. Thank you. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah. That's pretty deep.
Yeah, so I'm not a hothead. I don't.
So you definitely are a woman with many hats.
I am.
You know, that infomercial definitely explains you. And I'm really honored to sit here and hear, your, you know, your analogy and your vision of Jersey City. And, you know, I'm glad I had this interview with you.
Thank you. I'm glad you're giving me a good opportunity and a platform to just speak my heart.
No doubt.
Again, like I told you, I'm not out here making promises. I'm just telling people the path that I've already paved. And so because I've walked this walk, I'm able to talk this talk.
Real talk.
Right?
Real talk.
And so that's just very important. You know, people sometimes we see one person today and a different person tomorrow. I always tell my employees, and I've been saying this for 30 years now in the healthcare arena, when you interview someone, you're looking at the good twin.
Right.
When you hire them, you see the bad twin, you know? And so I'm a very good judge of character.
No doubt.
And so I stand back and I look at the person through a different lens. I know if they're going to be someone that is a right fit for my business.
Got it.
I have a choice in who I hire.
How do you feel about the control, about rent control in the development in downtown versus other areas of Jersey City?
Wait. Restate that. What does that even mean?
In other words, all right, let's see.
Yeah, please.
How do you feel about rent control?
Yeah.
And development?
Yeah.
In downtown versus other areas of Jersey City?
Yeah.
Because they have, you know, rent control.
Okay. So, again, we talking about what's equitable, right? Some things are just laughable. Rent control, what does that really mean for downtown? What does that mean for uptown and south? You know, we're in the South District right now, right? And so at the end of the day, it's what's affordable for each ward. It's affordable for each if you're going to look at it as north, south, east, and west. What's affordable for the South District? This is the South District right now. What is affordable for the people around here and their income levels? Right. That's how I feel about rent control. It shouldn't be equal. It should be equitable, period. It should be what that particular ward or that portion of the city can afford. And so that's the conversation that needs to be brought to the table for everyone, because people just want to be able to live comfortably. If you have to make a decision at the end of the day, if you're going to pay rent or have groceries on the table, that's a problem.
No doubt. What's your stance on property tax? Taxes.
Oh my God!
Do you think the city has been fair?
No.
To homeowners.
I won't say the city hasn't been fair. I will say that the taxes have been raised significantly, and it's hurting a lot of us. And I say us, right? And so, I mean, we already said, you know, if someone's coming in here and telling you I'm going to lower taxes or cut taxes, I don't trust them, right? And so you got to do what you got to do to run a city, right? And so that's probably not the question. Have they been fair? They had to do what they need to do.
Let's get this call real quick. Yes, hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Who is this? Okay.
Oh, that's Director
Tawana.
Tawana Moody
What's
from the
going
Jersey
on,
City Police
Tawana Moody?
Department.
How are you? Talk to me. Got a question, a statement? What's your okay, can you turn the TV down in the background? Okay, no doubt. Mm, yeah, right. Wow. I feel that. I'm telling you, I really feel that.
Mhm.
Mm, yeah, yeah, no doubt.
Thank
That's what's up.
you.
That's a blessing. I thank you for your call. I appreciate you calling in.
Oh, love
All right,
you.
love and respect. Yeah,
That's huge because she don't
yeah.
do politics
Wow.
at all, but
Yeah, that was
she
nice.
knows who I am.
That's what's up.
And as I told you, she is the very first civilian director of the police department here in Jersey City, and all the change you see, that big public safety building, she designed it.
Oh, really?
When you see cameras throughout all of Jersey City, so that if something happens, and we can rewind and see who did it,
Right.
she did that.
Wow.
When you see these different programs in Jersey City with the seniors and with the children rocking the block and just the singers looking forward and saying, "I'll see you in the summer," she
Wow.
did it. There's so many things that I could say that this woman did, and I know why she did it, because born and raised in Jersey City, she didn't have it easy like so
Right.
many other of us. She lost her mom at a young age, like I lost my mom
Right.
at a young age, and so she's also a pastor, but she pours everything that she has back into this city, and so
That's
I think it's been an honor and a privilege to have her in that seat, and I hope the next administration that comes along will see the value of who she is and what she's brought to the table.
nice.
And it's just just an excellent segue, because I just needed to say that because
That's
she's
what's up.
very important to this city.
Chrissy says, "Fighter for those who can't fight for themselves."
That's right.
Talking about you, I guess.
She knows it. Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up. Alicia Walker says, "Great interview."
Thank you, sis.
Thank
Yep.
you. Much
Yep.
love. All right, let's go back to these questions. I got maybe a few more questions for you. I can't let you off the hook that easy.
Oh, not at all.
All right, there's been a lot of talk about political favoritism in Jersey political favoritism
Yeah.
in Jersey City. All right, how do you plan to remain independent and accountable?
Okay, well, that's very very easy. My slogan for my campaign is "Can't be bought."
We can't be bored.
Because I am financially successful. I don't need anything from this city. I want to give everything to this city. I don't owe anyone any political favors. My loyalty is to the people of Jersey City. I've been doing this work for a very long time, way before this campaign. I've been serving this city with integrity, with transparency, and with truth. That's exactly what I continue to bring to the city. And so when people think about Pastor Tami, they'll tell you straight up, anybody that knows me will tell you, she says what she means and she means what she says, period.
That's what's up. Wow. Okay. If elected, what will be the first thing you do on that particular day?
The very first day. Audit the finances. Show me the money. I need to know what I'm working with. I need to know what I'm working with. I need to be able to say, listen,
I need to do this. I need to do that.
Maybe next budget. Yeah.
Right. I got you.
Yeah. That's day one.
No doubt.
Yeah.
In closing,
yeah.
Why should the people of Jersey City trust you with their voice? Why you? Why Tami? Why you?
Why Pastor Tami? So many reasons, right? Okay. And so Pastor Tami, as a pastor, a leader, someone that people trust their spiritual lives to, right? To gear them, is integral, right? And I do it with love and all the empathy that I have in me for people. CEO Tami, that built her company from the ground up, from nothing, is someone that gives back. And some of my employees are on. Do you know every single time the state of New Jersey gives me an increase from Medicaid or one of the insurance companies, I give that directly to my employees and I don't take it from myself. Wow. Do you know that I ran my company for 7 years without taking a salary? And every time salary payroll came, I had to sign my name on the check and give it to them. Thank God I have a great husband who provided for me, financially, so I didn't have to. I know how to build from nothing. I know how to balance a budget. Right. I know how to make sure, a company stays afloat. I know how to take a dollar and make it holler, so to speak. I know that's right. I'm just saying.
I like that one. I never heard that one.
Because I was a part of the Jersey City Employment and Training board. Board helping the people that were now looking for assistance, but also being a recipient. Right. I can see both ends, right? Nice. The fact that I came through the system and worked the system so that I can go back to school and educate myself and to be where I am today shows me that I can't leave out the people that are struggling, that are going through, that gonna need that same help to get to that next level. As all these different hats, as an advocate, National Coalition of 100 Black Women, and for the Jersey City Women's Advisory Board. I'm advocating. Right. I'm on the front line for the women. I'm making sure that these women are heard, are seen, are covered. Like we cover the women. When they come to us with their issues, we don't just put it out on Front Street. We don't take your issues and tell other people what's going on. And we don't put it in front of the camera and say, we did this. No, we make sure that your voice is heard. We make sure we fight for you, because we knew at the time maybe you couldn't fight for yourself, and then later on you can come and help us fight for those that also need help at the same time, right? What else do I do? As a chaplain for the police department, here I am. I already spoke about being that voice for the community when it comes to the police department, but I also want to be a voice for the police department because I know that we need them. I remember when they were talking about defunding the police department, I said, heck no, we need the boys in blue. We need our public safety out there on the front line for us, helping us, being helpmates to our children, showing up when things are bad, showing up when things are good. I've seen the police department show up for children who have been through difficult situations. They go back, they circle back, they bring them bikes, they bring them clothes, they bring them all uniforms. I mean, this woman, Director Moody, personally comes out of her pocket, giving back to the community. Again, why Tami? Tami's the person that makes sure that whatever your issue is, at the end of the day, if I don't have an answer for that, I'm going to go and get that answer for you. Why Tami? Because Tami is the person that has been there, done that, and I never back down. I told you during COVID, I was on the front line for the pastors. I was on the front line for the businesses, for the PPE equipment. Do you know that I'm the person that was the bridge so that the different churches could bring their parishioners to get COVID shots? I was that bridge. Wow. I was the one that set up the spreadsheets with the different parishes and churches so that they can go and get their COVID shots and be able to go out in society.
Right.
I'm that bridge. I'm that person that has always maintained the same mindset, and I am not just here by accident. I was born on purpose for a purpose. Ooh. And my purpose is to be a bridge and a helpmate and a link in the chain of change for everybody in Jersey City. And I often say, and people laugh at me and they say, why do we say this? I don't just live in Jersey City. Jersey City is my home. Think about that. Jersey City is my home, and every single person in this city is my neighbor. I was raised in a time where we were told it takes a village, right? To build and to go to the next level and to raise these children. It's going to take that same village to keep the city and bring it back to where we were, what we want, where we want to go. When I say where we were, when the family stuck together and we came together and we were advocates and we were on the front line when there was a problem for our communities, we're going to need that same community programs, community neighborhood watch programs. We're going to need the Jersey City Police Department to make sure that they show up to continue to train our children, these active shooters. Do you know that it was because of the different active shooter training programs that were put in place that when there was a problem and they had to shut the school down and the school went on lockdown, the kids knew what to do. The children felt safe on the inside. There may have been an incident on the outside, but they felt safe on the inside. So again, why Tammy? Because what you see with Pastor Tammy is what you get. And I am on Joyce Waterman's ticket because I believe in her. I believe that I will have an ally when I get to City Hall. I believe that that person, that woman, that pastor, that woman of God says what she means and means what she says. Everything she's ever said to me has been the truth and foundational. She is someone that I know and someone that I trust, that when I get to that seat, I'll be able to reach across the table and say, this is what the people need. And we're going to be able to together bring that forward. Why Tammy? Tammy is who you see and what you're going to get at the end of the day.
That's what's up. I got another question for you.
Shoot.
All right. How can the voters, learn more about your campaign so they can, maybe want to get involved?
Okay, well, if they want to follow me on social media, I'm Sister Girl Tammy. It's SISTAH_. It's Sister Girl Tammy on IG. I am Tami Weaver-Henry on Facebook. You can go to TammyForCityCouncil.com because I have my own domain. You can tap into that. Or you can just show up for one of our meet and greets. All of my information is on all of our social media handles, and I'm always available. And guess what? I'm going to also do, because this number is everywhere. If you need me, call me, 551-655-1762. That number has not changed in 22 years, and it's not going to change.
That's what's
I'm here for you.
That's what's
here
up.
for you.
Lastly, what's your message to the young girls who are watching you run for office? Mm-hmm. What's your message to them?
You don't have to be perfect to be powerful, right? And so at the end of the day, I said we're not here by happenstance. Everybody is born on purpose for a purpose. That's right. Once you figure out what lights your fire, go with that. Find someone that's like-minded and go with that. Whether you have to go sit up under someone and be mentored and have apprenticeship, whether you need to go and tap into these different organizations that are out here right now in the community trying to be a link in the chain of change for Jersey City, do that. But don't wait until you have perfection, because right now you're already just as powerful as you need to be, and you will be, because God placed that purpose in you. These are facts. Right. I learned that through trial and error, but I learned it.
That's what's up. You have any other questions for Tammy? Put it on the comment board. If it's if you just chiming in to this video, put your comments on the comment board. And I really appreciate you coming here. And we spent almost 2 hours.
Wow, that's deep.
What I mean? That's deep. You really broke some stuff down, and I see you for who you are. The compassion, it runs deep. It really runs deep. And I thank you for you coming here and expressing yourself of what you're going to do, what you're planning to do, and to show people who you are. I thank you. You've been dapped.
Thank you. I've been dapped. What I want to say to my audience, thank you for tapping in. But most importantly, please like and subscribe to D.A.P, the David Adams Live Podcast, because he's listening to the community. And right now, he is also that bridge that we need in the community.
Wow.
Someone that's going to ask the real questions and get down to the nitty gritty. And I hope that I'm invited back once I get to that seat so we can come back on part 2.
Of course.
Because, and you have my word that you can do that on a consistent basis. Because once I get there, anything that I said I'm going to do it. And I'm going to continue to be as transparent as I am right now.
I believe that. Thank you so much. Much love and respect. I appreciate it.
God bless you.
Y'all, here it is. Y'all hear? Y'all heard from the horse's mouth. Tami Weaver-Henry. Much love and respect.
Tammy's running for city council to bring all her experience and all her hats to work for you. And I cheer her on in every role because I'm her husband, Baron Henry. And Tammy Many Hats is exactly what Jersey City needs. Every single day. She's a spiritual leader, a healthcare professional, a police chaplain, a business owner, and a tireless community volunteer. No matter which hat she's wearing, she's always focused on one thing, and that's serving Jersey City. Tammy's running for city council to bring all her experience and all her hats to work for you. And I cheer her on in every role because I'm her husband, Baron Henry. And Tammy Many Hats is exactly what Jersey City needs.